Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Hope you had a good holiday weekend. Let's go ahead and do your questions. Unmute yourself, type in, go ahead and fire away.
And go ahead, Linda, then David.
Hey, Linda.
Hey, hi there. I'm needing to ask you about that person we've been working with together with the respiratory issues. You
Oh,
remember?
yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. 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 Okay.
So she's in the hospital right now. I just got an email from her just a little while ago that her shortness of breath became acute and she had to go and they checked her into the hospital.
Okay.
S- Um, so a couple things. One, I might need a little pep talk because I'm feeling pretty, I'm feeling pretty low about the fact that we've been working diligently here and I don't know what's going on. And two, I didn't know if you could
This is what I'll say about that.
please.
When people would want me to back in the earlier days to mentor them and everything, I would say, you know, you're going to come across a lot of conditions. I was like, especially in the early days, don't spend a lot of time treating really super chronic bad conditions because this is the kind of stuff that comes up and it's can be a little bit hard for your confidence level. You know what I mean? You've been around a while and you've been doing it, but like when you're dealing with something that's really chronic like this, sometimes the body, you know, even though you treat it, you might slow it down, but sometimes the body has a lot more momentum built up than we can stop. And
Yeah.
it happens, you know.
And I do, you're right. I mean, I've been around long
Yeah.
enough to know that. So I guess the
But
question
still, when
I,
you're in it in the moment, like I've had to have that talk with myself so many times.
yeah, I remind myself that medical
Yeah.
doctors don't save everybody either.
Yeah. Like it's,
But so my question at this
yeah.
point is, can you give me any guidance on how I can best be of
Well,
assistance or what?
shortness of breath, like whenever I would look at shortness of breath, the first things I'd go to is the diaphragm, the neck, so the throat and the throat minor,
Mm,
and then the bronchioles.
right.
And like when you this is the person with sclerosis, right?
No, idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis.
Fibrosis. Okay. Um, I would look at trying to open up the bronchioles, the diaphragm, the the throat, mostly the sternocleidomastoid on both sides.
Mm,
But even deeper in the neck. I mean, I thoroughly treat the neck and the diaphragm and the
okay.
lungs, but the bronchioles in the lungs.
Yeah, I've been looking right. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I mean, that kind of shortness of breath can also be a reflection on the body being in too much sympathetic and not enough parasympathetic. Because
Mm,
if you think about like shortness of breath is short, rapid breathing, like if you are running or whatever. And so sometimes there can be a disturbance in the nervous system. When I look at that person, their vagal tone is pretty poor.
mm,
But given the condition that they have, not real super surprising. You know what
mhm.
I mean? Like it might get better and then get worse and get better and get worse. And so, anything that you can use to like, are you going to be able to use oils or you're just looking at things to target as you do healings or
No, she has some oils and she's willing to get and order ones if we, can
so
direct her to certain.
marjoram would help like
Okay.
tone up the parasympathetic activity and pull the body out of fight flight. I would say with something like that, I'd almost like rub it on his like on their feet, on their wrist, not necessarily something they have to inhale, like even putting a little bit on the abdomen. Um, I
Mhm.
like that idea. You
Okay.
could use tarragon, but the reason I go marjoram is um, much more easily tolerated directly on the skin. Um, the other thing is I would probably do large, like large on like applied directly to the abdomen and the chest. You know, you could do it in a body tonic, or you could just put drops on them, you know.
Mhm. Yeah,
Um,
that's what I've been using for
yeah.
myself based on what you suggested, and it definitely seems to
And
help.
and so those help. And then the things that like help to unwind, like the diaphragm, usually also help to unwind the throat a little bit.
Mhm.
So helichrysum, you know,
Okay.
Sitka, Anula, Almi Visnaga, even German chamomile, um, larch,
Mhm.
myrtle, um, you know, the things that we use for the diaphragm. Tolu balsam, Tolu balsam would be good. Um, so there's that component, but the other component that there's times where you might even have to manually slow down the breath.
Mm,
And ylang ylang or spikenard are very good for slowing down the respiratory rate.
okay,
Yeah. And
great.
so, like, I mean, it's a combination of things to do, but, you know, the thing that I kind of like also about putting like the larch on the chest is like sometimes the muscles that, like the skeletal muscles around the rib cage, sometimes they get so tight that the person trying to breathe is like fighting the skeletal muscles to be able to inhale. And putting some things on topically like that help to ensure that the rib cage and the muscles that are attached to it or help elevate it are relaxed enough so it can function well.
Great.
You know,
Fantastic. Thank you so
yeah.
very
Is that help?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it gives me
Okay.
direction, on the other things that we can do to maybe make her more comfortable, right? Even if we're
Yeah.
not going to be able to resolve some things, it would
Yeah.
be nice if we could help make her more comfortable. So
Yeah.
that helps a great deal. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
and again, I know it's like,
Yeah.
but you know, hang in there. Like you know, you never know. You might be giving them quality of life, slowing it down,
Yeah.
diminishing symptoms. You know, of course, we always want the cure, but like sometimes, there's little wins that happen along the way too. And
Right.
you know,
Right.
you
I
know,
mean, I've
and
been working, you've been told me about working her kidneys and Mingmen. I've been doing a lot of that.
okay,
And so, all right. Well, yeah, we'll
okay,
just keep up.
keep me posted.
I will definitely. Thank you so
Okay,
much.
you're so welcome.
And go ahead, David, then Chris.
Hi,
Hey,
Greg.
David. Hey.
So the blood pressure has been about 150 over 100.
Okay, it's a bit high.
Yeah. So I've added the NS. I'm using the lovage leaf. Any other suggestions?
Okay, so with the lovage leaf, if I remember right, when you're using it, there's not really an increase in urination frequency or volume.
Not that I've noticed.
Okay, and the blood pressure is still high.
Right. I probably use the washroom more than most people anyway. I don't know.
Like how many times do you think you go to the bathroom a day?
I don't know. I I actually don't know. Usually once or twice at night, and then during the day, every few hours.
Okay,
I drink a lot.
150 over 100. And stress levels are the same, or is there like different stresses that are happening?
Um, there's always a little stress through the holidays, but I don't really feel stressed.
Yeah, there's nothing like crazy going on, like gotta redo the bathroom before the family comes over and I don't have enough time,
Right,
nothing like
right,
that, right?
right. In fact, I got some big things done recently that are now off my list. Also sleeping better too. My blood work shows that I'm fighting something in a low grade way.
Okay, well, you ever feel a little bit of like a rapid heartbeat, anything like that?
Yeah, once in a while I notice my heartbeat is odd.
Okay. And what, like when you're taking your blood pressure, what's the pulse?
Um, so the average is about, if I'm guessing, I would say the average is about 70.
Okay. Well, I mean, at this point, I would say we just need to start exploring some things. Normally, what I would do is I wouldn't even go down the oil route. I would have you do Gotu Kola with L-citrulline.
Okay.
And that's usually for tension in the blood vessels in the veins.
Mm-hmm.
And then I usually augment that with coenzyme Q10 or ubiquinol, which is actually more like a easily assimilated form of coenzyme Q10. Um, uh, but I'm not sure that that's the ticket for you. Do you happen to have Lang Lang?
Um, I might have enough to inhale.
Yeah, let's. I mean, if you could take it internal, that would be good. But even if you just do the inhalation, let's have you even do that. But like a lot of inhalations, like 50 or 60 at a time, where you just sit and just really inhale it for a while.
Would it be more effective to take it internally?
If it works, the inhalation will at least give you an idea.
Okay.
And then if it is something that it looks like it would contribute to lowering the blood pressure, you probably would need to take it internal.
Okay.
Yeah, I would do that. I mean, that's the thing with blood pressure. There's not like one route. There's a lot of different reasons why blood pressure shoots up. And you are sleeping okay though, right?
Yeah, I've been sleeping better actually.
Okay. You know what? Let's go. Let's try that. Gotu Kola. Let's have you do Gotu Kola. Go to the health food store, pick up just a small bottle of Gotu Kola capsules and a small bottle. You should be able to get it in a health food store. It's L-citrulline,
Okay.
and then like 3 capsules of the Gotu Kola, like at least twice a day, maybe even 3 times a day. And then L-citrulline, get the biggest dosage, the biggest milligrams that they have, and then take 2 or 3. Like take two twice a day.
Okay.
And do you use coenzyme Q10 or ubiquinol at all?
I don't. I actually
I
don't.
I would start using it. Like it, even if, I mean, anytime like you would see a doctor who's into even a little bit of alternative stuff and there's blood pressure, usually the first thing they'll say is use coenzyme Q10. And it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to completely address the blood pressure, but it's very good for the heart. It's very good for circulation. It's very good for a bunch of other body processes and things. And as we get older, it's just one of those good things. You don't have to take it all the time, but like I go through periods where I take it for a couple months and then I don't take it for a couple months and then I take it for a couple months and then, but I've had people that have had congestive heart failure, and we've had them on big dosages of coenzyme Q10 and 30 years, like, and they're still just trucking right along. Like, I mean, it really does amazing things for the heart. And so, don't buy big bottles because we're not sure. Like, so just go buy the smallest bottle of each thing. Um, and then, uh, at least two, if not three, of the capsules of ubiquinol or coenzyme Q10 a day. Three go to cola 2 to 3 times a day, and the L-citrulline 2 tablets twice a day.
Okay.
And let's see that should really have some sort of impact. You don't have. I like the ratio. I mean, even though your blood pressure is high, which it's not crazy high, but it's high, right? The ratio is nice. The 150 over 100, that ratio is nice because sometimes when that ratio starts to get off, especially when the numbers are closer together. So that's good. Let's just get the improved circulation. Let's relax the veins. The Gotu Kola is a venous tonic, so it helps blood return back to the heart, and it helps to get more blood to the head, and it should be helpful. So let's see what that does.
Okay. Okay, super. And how long of a trial should
Just a couple of times. Like there's never like a set like, this is the thing to do.
Right.
You do have to kind of tweak it from person to person. There's some other things that are like a little bit more supportive. They're not necessarily like the thing that directly goes after it, but there's this substance called PQQ. Sometimes I'll have people use that. There's a few things, but like we want to find the big main primary thing that's happening. You don't have any blood sugar issues though, right?
I um I haven't tested myself too much. Um I probably do. I've eaten a lot of sugar through my lifetime. But I'm planning on getting a continuous monitor and checking to see what's going on.
Have you been prone to like high blood sugar at all or anything like that?
It's been a little high. There's been a couple times they drew blood. It's been a little high.
Okay.
I can,
And you don't have like a device to measure your blood sugar, right?
I'm gonna get a continuous monitor soon.
Oh, are you really?
Yeah,
Okay. Well, let's see what that is because part of what could happen is we could treat the blood sugar if there is a blood sugar issue, and some of that treatment overlaps with the blood pressure and the heart function. And do we know what your cholesterol is?
cholesterol is a little high. I don't remember the number.
Yeah,
They said it's a little high.
like not massively, but like a skosh.
Yeah,
Okay. Well, let's start with what we're talking about, and then you know, like if how far away are you getting this continuous monitor?
um, soon as I make it over to Costco.
Okay. Okay, but that's a prescription, right?
Right, it
right.
is.
Okay, so they're concerned about your blood sugar on some level.
Well, I asked for it
Okay.
because I'm really curious. You know, I've eaten a lot of sugar in my lifetime.
Yeah, but blood sugar is a weird thing. You could eat a lot of sugar and it could still be fine, and you could have like an amazing diet and it could still be high. You know what I mean? It's let's just see where everything's at. Right
Okay.
now, let's treat it as like blood pressure, but like when it starts to be blood pressure, blood sugar, and cholesterol, like then there can be a little bit of a different approach that helps to kind of treat it all at once. Because that starts to be like there's a thing off in the homeostasis, and so um, it's a slightly different way to approach it, but let's just do one thing at a time.
So I pulled up one of my tests. The glucose was 100.
Okay, that's okay. Yeah, you're not having a. I mean, it depends on the time of day and whatever, but you know, if that's kind of the norm, you're doing fine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, okay, let's just go forward with what we are thinking.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll
And
try
then,
that.
give it like it should start working within a day or two. Like it might not be exactly where it's going to get, but it should start fluctuating at like the first day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good.
So
Thank you so much.
you're so welcome. Definitely keep me posted though.
I will. I will. Thank you. Thank you, Craig.
You're so welcome.
And then go ahead, Chris, then Molly.
Hey, Chris.
Thanks, Sam. Hey, Greg. I have my brother here. I think. Oh, where is he? Yes, I have my brother Nolly. He's from Singapore,
Huh?
and he messaged me this morning because maybe it started 3 years before my father passed away. His lower legs started turning really dark, almost black towards the end, and Nolly thinks that's starting for him. Nol, can you describe what you're...
Well, it just started with the small, blotches on my left foot, and it becomes dry and gets very itchy, and now it is going up to my lower leg.
And have you had a doctor look at it at all, or?
Yes, I was given a cream to apply, but I don't think it's working at all.
Okay. So you think it's mostly skin, or does it look like a circulatory issue?
Again, please.
Does it seem like it's more the skin, or is it a circulation issue?
I have no idea.
So it's
what
just
No.
getting
it
dark.
is.
Yeah, and I think, Nol, do you have some, remind me, is it cholesterol issue or high blood pressure?
Oh, I take a blood pressure medication and blood thinning medication.
You do take blood thinning.
Yes.
Okay. Give me a
Because
sec.
I have irregular heartbeat.
And the the cream that they gave you is for just the pigment shifting and changing?
I don't really know. It's called Dermason. So
Dermasol? Okay, let me look.
Dermason.
Is that like a cortisone?
Um, I, I don't know. I don't really know.
Dermasol.
Derma and SONE.
Oh,
What is it?
Oh, there you go. Dermasone.
Yes.
Will you type it in for me, Chris? Are you able?
Yeah. 1 second.
Great, thanks.
Beta.
TEMASONE.
Mucosins. Oh, it's more for skin conditions, eczema, dermatitis, itching. Has
Do you remember
it's a
what the,
hydrocortisone.
yeah. So the leg is getting darker. What did they say about your father? Like when it was happening to him?
They thought, well, we never really brought him to the hospital because it was so hard to take him out of the
Yeah.
house. But the
Yeah.
doctor that came for his checkups, I mean, he never had like extensive testing, although he had a stroke in his 60s. He passed away in his 80s. They think it's circulatory,
Yeah.
although the skin was peeling quite a lot towards the end, almost like psoriasis type of peeling. But the legs were really dark
Okay.
towards the
Then,
end.
any blood sugar issues with him?
My dad.
No,
I
no,
don't think.
with
Oh,
your
my
brother.
brother.
I don't think so. I
Okay.
go on a yearly checkup, because of my high blood pressure.
You do have high blood pressure?
Yes.
Okay. And do you ever get a sore or anything on your leg that doesn't heal very fast, or like sores just kind of erupt?
Well, just dry patches,
Okay.
and then
That's why
it
it's getting
becomes
the
very
eczema,
itchy.
right? Yeah. You know, and did they check you for a blood clot? I'm just curious.
No, not
Okay.
really.
Okay.
I plan to consult with a skin specialist
Yeah.
regarding this.
So the thing that I would treat, I would treat this as like what you would call like a venous insufficiency, which means the veins of the legs aren't like pumping the blood up as good as they could. If you were getting darkening somewhere else, like if it was like on your shoulder or your wrist or like on your thigh or something, it'd be like, eh. But like when you have like venous insufficiency or, veins just aren't, like after a while, it's like a worn out balloon. They kind of lose their ability to do what they do. And that it's on the lower leg, like I would feel better about just like, let's treat that a little bit. And so couple of things. Are you here or are you in the Philippines?
He's in
I'm in
Singapore.
Singapore.
Singapore. There you go.
Yes.
Okay. So there's an herb, like I was just talking about it with a previous person, gotu kola. Very good for venous issues, like any time, especially in the lower legs with the veins. It's incredibly helpful for that. I would also increase your like vitamin C or foods that are rich in vitamin C. Like every day, like you got to be getting in some vitamin C just because it will also keep the veins healthy. So you could take supplements or you could just eat a couple of oranges or a couple of kiwis.
Oh, kiwi. Yes, yeah.
Yeah. Kiwis are amazing. So I would say go heavy on the kiwi even. I would do that. And then essential oil wise, you could use like really simple things like cedar or cypress. You do cedar topically, and you can even take some cypress internally to help with the venous flow, the veins. You still could put something on there topically, but I'd almost like to see like a little bit of treatment on just the veins, just so we can pinpoint what is going on. You know, and there's things that can cause this. I mean, some of them are the skin, some of them are circulation. Another thing is like a thrombosis, whether you got like a clot or a buildup in a vein, something like that. But if your father had it and they didn't really come up with the thrombosis issue, that it's probably a circulation issue, like like a little bit of a genetic thing with the veins. And so,
Okay.
I mean, like hyperpigmentation can happen, and it can start to cause like a darkening, and it's not really a big issue. I mean, it causes what it looks like, but it's not like there's some big like weird reason. It's just like the skin's going to get darker, and so that is a possibility as well. But if it's venous insufficiency, we want to stay on top of that just for your overall health. And so venous insufficiency, I've seen it cause some of the symptoms that you're talking about, like eczema type things. I've even seen it where it's even caused like looks like almost like somebody got like a bite or something, and then the bite doesn't heal. It's actually a vein issue that area is just the blood flows off, and you'll get these like little ulcerations and things like that. And so did your dad have that at all?
Wounds that didn't heal. I can't
Yeah, I
remember.
think so.
I think so, yeah.
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 Let's treat this as venous insufficiency. Like that makes me feel out of everything. Like, if it's a thrombosis, they're gonna, address it and give you either an injection or something to seal that up. But most likely it's a venous, a vein issue. And I would do things to kind of resolve the vein issue. I mean, good thing is if it comes out that that's not the case, everything else is not as critical. And this isn't like massively like a scary thing. It's just like more one of those things that you just like, it's maintenance. Like if you keep the blood circulation better in your legs, it's just better overall health there, and it will be better overall cardiovascular health otherwise. And so, I also like the idea of I do the Coca-Cola, and just like I was talking about with the other person, I would do some form of like coenzyme Q10 or ubiquinol, which is a type of coenzyme Q10. And just because it would help with circulation, it helps things move. Like sometimes with issues where the blood is having issues like this, and we can handle this a couple of different ways, but sometimes what I also do is first I like to treat it like how we're talking about, and then we either add like rosemary to the protocol, or ginkgo biloba. And the reason being that both of those are what you would call a cephalic, which means it moves blood from down low and moves it up to the head, like it moves blood up. And so if we see that like, hey, this is starting to have a little bit of an impact, then the rosemary and the ginkgo would be good for the heart. It would be good for circulation. It'd be good for getting the blood up and out of the lower legs. But first, let's just treat it as a vein issue and stay on top of that. Does that leg swell at all?
No,
Okay.
not at all.
So,
And I'm wondering why I'm having this, because I exercise regularly.
It's
do a
it's
lot of
it's
walking
it's
and I
probably not so
swim.
much about the exercise. It has to do with
Mm,
like, elasticity in the veins.
I see.
So like for some reason, the veins are going a little bit. And
Mhm.
so yeah. I mean it could be genetic, it could be all kinds of things. Have you had lots of constipation in your life?
Not really.
Okay. So I mean it's probably genetic then. Sometimes when there's a big history of constipation, this can be a
Mhm.
byproduct of that. But let's just move forward with this and just like we're just going to tone those things up and see how that goes.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you.
So
Good.
and
Would elevating his legs help too?
I mean it could. The other thing that like next time you go to the doctor, like the cholesterol, I'd be very curious about the cholesterol. We'd want to just check to see if there's any plaque, or massive amounts of plaque in the bloodstream, but it would be manifesting in other places, not just here. And so I still go back to I think it's a vein issue, but I'd still be curious about cholesterol and you know if they do like an echo or something of the heart and they just look to see if there's like a bunch of plaque or something like that, then at least there's another thing to address. But for right now,
Mhm.
let's just do what we think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
don't
Thank you.
don't jump to any crazy, like we're talking about all these weird things. Let's just
Mhm.
treat it like a vein thing. Let's not worry about that it's like some big weirder thing or something like that. All the signs kind of point to this, but I still like to explore like, let's just make sure, but
Mhm.
this is probably what it is.
Mhm.
So I
Okay.
guess like don't let our little talk make you feel like you got panicked and run to the doctor. You know what I mean? I still see the doctor, but you know what I mean? Like let's just
Yes.
and yeah.
Of
So
course.
that's all
Yes.
I was trying to say. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You read him right. Right.
I can feel it. I can feel it. Like I was like,
I could feel his panic when he
yeah,
messaged me this morning.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Oh, did you, Chris?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So
thank you so
that's
much.
that's mostly like it. I mean, it actually is not super uncommon, and but it I mean, still doesn't mean that you don't try to treat it and things like that. So let's just treat it as that. Yeah.
Mhm.
Have your feet changed like as you've gotten older? Like has your shoe size changed? Has your feet gotten flatter? Anything like that?
No,
Okay.
no, it's still size 11.
Okay. Good. Okay. I mean, all good signs, so let's just treat it and see what the skin does. I mean, you can still be using that cream, but most likely the eczema-like symptoms is because of circulation issues.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. And
Thanks
keep
so
me
much,
posted
Greg.
on that,
Will do.
okay? Okay.
Thank you.
And then go ahead, Lolly, then Denise.
Hey.
Hey. Okay, let's see. A few things. So we talked last week about like changing patterns, and you told me to do the materialization breath with Mercury, which I just got today, and
Okay.
then work with the healing spirit of Mercury, which I've been working with.
Mhm.
And also do the etheric chords in some on situations. So what I was wondering about, so when I'm doing that, I'm doing the etheric chords first, then materialization breath,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then
And you can go back and forth, but I would definitely do the chord work first, and then do the materialization breath because what you're doing is you're working harmonics, and harmonics is not just like our patterns and the ability to establish patterns, but it's also the ability to refine patterns. And you know, if I remember right, we were talking about how like this thing happens in all these different
Mhm.
areas.
Yeah.
And you know, so for whatever reason, you know, sometimes it's patterns that come out of our childhood or because of something that happened to us, but a lot of times we come in with these patterns and you know, we even start doing them when we're young. And it's not that
Mhm.
something happened, it's just like this is the issue we're working through. And so with that, by doing the back and forth between the chords and the materialization breath, and excuse me, working the planets, you know, that is helping to clean up that pattern, and then it's helping to like refine it, which means you kind of work your way out of it because it, you know, sometimes these are a lot like an archetype, how you would talk about an archetype. You know, like archetypes aren't good or bad, but there's a shadow side and a side that's of light, you know, and when you shift the archetype, it's not like that archetype goes away, it just goes from shadow to light. And sometimes when you're dealing with like a pattern like this, you know, it's probably most likely tied to some aspect of yourself or some uh like ability or you know like a part of your character or your personality that hasn't been like touched very much or hasn't woken up yet. And so the manifestation a lot of times is in more of like negative interactions. But as you refine it, you notice like it doesn't go away. It it becomes almost like an asset. You know, it becomes like an ally of sorts. And it stops being a bad thing and it starts to be like a good thing. You know, I go back to, you know, I say this like maybe it helps, but you know, so when I was young, uh, you know, I've told the story a bunch, so my apologies, you know, but it's just it helps to understand. So I was about 4, and you know, I was playing in, you know, my friends were just the kids on the block. You know, I lived in a little tiny town, and so if I didn't get along with those kids, I didn't have friends. And there was this one kid that always took my toys, and you know, every time he'd come over, every time I get a new toy, I'd either have to hide it or, you know, whatever, because he was going to take it. And so as I grew up, it became, you know, friends are people who steal from me or betray me, you know, because he would look me square in the eye. He was like, nope, didn't take it. I'm not going to take it. You know, I won't lose it, you know, whatever. And it always happened, you know, always, every time. And so, uh, for the longest time, I surrounded myself with people that were very much like that. And if people were nice to me, I was like, what are you doing being nice to me? You have to go away. There's going to be somebody comes in who's going to, you know, screw me over, betray me, something like you know, you got to keep space for that. Like, in as ridiculous as that sounds,
It
God,
sounds very familiar, but yeah.
it's just like, God, it's so embarrassing. And you know, through like healing and ceremony and things like that, I really shifted out of it. You know, it wasn't all at once, but it like I shifted out of it. And I still had that in me. Like it's still in me, but I could walk into a room. I mean, people used to pay me a lot of money to use that same thing. Like they'd you know, I used to get called in for like, I don't know what you want to call it, like internal sabotage within a company, either like theft or stealing data or, you know, people doing things to get their way or whatever. And they'd start giving me all the facts and details. I was like, I don't need any of that. Just put me in the room with them. Call a meeting, have everybody there. I'll tell you exactly who it is. And, we'd have the meeting, come back. I wouldn't ask him any questions. I wouldn't even, and I'd go, it's that guy and that guy. And they'd go, that's amazing. How, how can you do that? And I was like, well, let's just validate this, do a deep dive on them, monitor them, go into their computer, whatever it is. And, every time it was accurate every time. And so, I remember the CEO asking me, he was like, how do you do that? Just clairvoyantly see them do it? And I go, no, I want to be friends with them. Like there's a part of me that wants to be friends with them. That means I know that they're that kind of person. Like I don't act on that, like I'm aware of it, but when there's just like this, not like how you're having a conversation and you connect with somebody and you go, wow, we have the same interest and everything like that, and you start being friendly. It's not that kind of thing. It's just this weird, like, I need to be friends with that person. I haven't seen anything, but I'm drawn to that person. I was like, yeah, it's because that pattern is there. So it became an alarm rather than a tendency. Like when I would feel like that about somebody, I was like, okay, got to keep my wits about me because there's probably something up here, and so that is that ability moving from shadow to light. Like it's still in there, like you still got some wiring, you still have some conditioning about it, but you're aware of it, you realize it. And so when it comes up, instead of going, well, I guess I should just be friends, I'm like, I want to be friends. I know nothing about this person other than they're in this room. Something's up. Something is up. And every time.
Mhm.
you know
Yeah, and
so
yeah.
it's probably going to be a lot more like that, like where you
Yeah.
kind of start shifting out of it, and
Mhm.
who knows what that turns into.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily mean that you need to be more vocal or you need to do whatever. It might even just be like a presence that you're able to hold in that space or
Mhm.
something like that.
Yeah.
But something will shift, and if there's a blockage or something that needs to be addressed, it does come up. Like it
Mhm.
will come up and you'll go like, I for me, I was like, I don't feel good about myself. I don't
Mhm.
feel good about whatever. And so, I worked on that for a little while, and it kind of passed. And doesn't mean it doesn't flare up from time to time, but still go through and
Mhm.
work on it some more. And you know
Yeah.
you're just trying to wake up different pieces of yourself. And because like it's like kind of what we were saying about change the other day. Change isn't about coming something different. It's just waking up other pieces of yourself, and that's all you're really trying to do here. It's not even really about releasing the pattern. You're just trying to wake something up inside of yourself that this pattern is pointing to.
Mhm. Yeah, makes sense. Thank you. And then you would do it what, like a few times a week?
Well, if you're anything like me, and if you've had a belly full, I do it like a maniac for a while.
I've been kind of
Feel
doing
free
it
to do
pretty
it like a
much
maniac.
daily. Yeah. Okay.
Do
Yeah.
do it like a maniac for a while,
Okay. Yeah.
and then after a while, maybe calm down and do it a couple times a week.
Okay. 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 Yeah,
I
I've
mean,
been
I get it. Like when you just are like, I am so sick of this. I so want to be done with this.
yeah.
Like it's in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Let it be in your mind. Let
Mm-hmm.
yourself like go, okay, I'm gonna wrestle with this for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something we're going to kind of talk about on the weekend. And you know how we do the thing about, okay, put your awareness on an external situation and then feel it in your body, and then external situation and feel it in your body, and then you're just practicing awareness. So really what you're trying to do is at that point, you're just trying to get out of the maintenance part of your mind, or the intellectual part of your mind, and you're trying to be able to shift into like awareness, and awareness eventually starts to turn into a little intuition. The little bit of intuition, like the next kind of phase of that, that's not the end of what we're trying to do. It's just we're trying to practice the ability to like break out of that little cycle. Well, what you want to do is you want to be able to present this problem to intuition without intellect having like giving intuition like a report. This is what I think it is. This is what I think it should do. This is what it's time. It goes back to when I was 5. Like, there is all of that, right? But like when you present it to intuition, you're presenting a problem that intuition then just starts to try to resolve, and it's usually not how we think about it. And so you're tapping into a type of consciousness there, like a type of higher consciousness. So like in the when I traveled with the medicine man, we did a form of this when actually even when I was young and cycling, I would do a form of this, and I was taught by a medicine man, but it was not the one that I traveled with. And you know how it's like sometimes people talk about, like, say you're getting up to do a presentation tomorrow, and they'd say, visualize yourself getting up and doing the presentation and speaking well, and everybody's really liking it, and it's well received, and you're happy with your performance, and just visualize that. Kind of like it's a kind of a nice idea, but actually the deeper form of that is like when you have an issue like this, like when you're going through and you're focusing and you're practicing awareness, what you're eventually beginning to do is, while you're awake, you dream on it. You're not trying to figure it out. You're not grinding on the details. You just keep observing the different pieces, which is a way of like presenting it to the intuition. And you basically go, okay, I have a problem. And you keep feeding information to the intuition, and then you just wait for the email. You just wait for the response. And all of a sudden you go, this is what the issue is. And so for something like this, at first you're just going to be trying to treat it, and you're going to need to wrestle with it for a little bit. And then you're going to need to get like almost like a little bit frustrated, where you're like, because you have to fatigue that part of the intellectual mind. But when you can really start getting it to the part of the mind that's more the intuitive part, and you can just turn on observation mode and just start observing all the little things that happen through the day, at some point you turn on the ability to realize and to problem solve. Basically you're innovating and you're learning, but you have to kind of take in the pieces. And so even that idea of in some of the classes or whatever we've been doing, I'll say, sit and look at a situation, ask a bunch of questions, but don't answer any of them. It's still nudging you in that direction. And so if the mind is a little too engaged and you're going this detail, that detail, this detail, and you're not just able to observe, like at some point you want to just get to where you look and go, oh, interesting. Oh, look, interesting. Oh, that's happening. Interesting. But if you can't get to that point at first, you just go, okay, I'm going to pose a series of questions. I'm answering none of them. Why is this happening? Why is this happening right now? Why does this happen? Da 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 da. Like you just kind of, I wonder what this person is meaning by this. Why doesn't that? You just start you just start blowing out all the questions, you know, just whatever it is. And even that's a way to exhaust the mind. And because you're not coming up with the idea or the answer, intuition eventually will kick in and start problem solving it. And that's the thing here. You're not trying to release it or get rid of it. You're trying to shift it. You're trying to learn your way out of it. You're trying to innovate your way out of it. You're trying to take it from being a pain in your butt to something where, you know, it makes you almost like an expert.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. That's a good way of turning that and getting a better understanding of how to actually work with that and shift that. So yeah. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, well, I'll keep working that. Also wondering what's in the healing spirit of Mercury? What's in the blend?
Oh, the blend.
Yeah.
Like magic.
Did you hear? So,
Yes. And then when I'm working something like that, does it make a difference if I'm working that like before or after I'm working like spikenard or any of the doesn't really okay.
no. Which one? Mercury?
Yeah, Mercury and actually both Mercury and healing spirit of Mercury.
Oh, okay. So healing spirit of Mercury is Cape chamomile, kava kava, mace, palo santo, and heavy on the cistus.
That's what I thought, sisters. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. And then you want to just regular Mercury.
Yeah.
Okay, have to go to a different. Heavy on the poplar balsam and cistus, acacia, and aloes attar. And an attar is they basically distilled aloes in sandalwood.
Thank you. Yeah, it's so I've been working that. Also, what's been interesting is that I really feel like I need to work the kava kava. Like there's something about, so it's not just the scent, but there's something about that like daily, I'm like at night, I'm like, it feels
Yeah,
like
it's super good for you.
yeah.
Yeah, it's super good for like calming down like conditioned instinctive responses. Yeah, I there was a period in like probably a decade where I hit kava kava really heavy, you know.
And I've been also working with that with the pattern for the plant teachers.
Plant teachers, just inhaling it, taking it internal, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
I used to actually even do ceremonies with it.
okay. That's yeah, and it's been yeah the last week or so even more. Okay, so then just
Mhm.
working with so even regular like inhalations without any patterns.
Yeah, you can just inhale it. Yeah.
Okay. And then internally, would that be like a
Yeah,
good
so you
idea
could
for
do
me
the
to
essential
add?
oil. You could do 3 or 4 drops internally, or you could do the tincture.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes with capsules like from the health food store, sometimes the powder is a little bit old. So
If I would do it, I would do the oil. I
yeah.
feel it would be a better. But then is it something you would take mostly like at night or?
It depends. I mean, it is calming to the central nervous system. I take it during the day and it doesn't bother me a bit, but
Mhm.
if it's too relaxing to you at first, I would say just at night, but I would take it during the day. Like when I was in that 8 or 9 year period or 10 year period where I was doing it, I would wake up and start taking it right off the bat. Like I was like,
Okay.
you know, I wasn't taking massive dosages, but like
Mhm.
I took it all day just because it calmed down those instinctive responses and it gave me like more time to be able to like make choices and like process like my emotions and my thoughts. You know, like I was too much on automatic. Like I was just I was running way too fast. You know what I mean? Um like so I was just always reacting to things and not really thinking
Mhm.
things out. And so it really helped calm all those processes down.
And
When
when you
it's
were,
travel, but when I travel, I still that's one of my things I travel with. It's kava.
oh, okay. And then applying to the wrist as well? Would that, or topically
Yeah, I
not?
would probably inhalation or internal is your best bet.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay,
Topical, it's okay, but much better inhaled or internal.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Makes sense because that's what it kind of, because I've been playing with that a little bit because I have the small one from the plant teachers, and I'm kind of, yeah, it feels stronger when I'm doing the inhalations as opposed to like putting it on, and I wasn't sure. Okay. But
Yeah.
and for travel, that's good to know. Thank you.
Yeah.
And then okay, so then a few other things. Give me 1 second. I don't have like a whole list of things. Frankincense. So I'm wondering, is there a big difference? What is the difference between the frankincense and frankincense serrata, the one that you had just last week?
Yeah, we did a big write-up of all the different frankincenses. Remember that? We'll post it up on the blog again, or we'll bring it up.
Okay.
And it
Okay.
just like, they all have like some core things that they do, but they each
Mhm.
have some things that are a little bit that they do a little bit better.
Okay. And then you can take, but as far as taking them internally, you would
Oh, yeah.
you
Mhm.
can take, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, okay, so a few other things. Overall, it's been interesting. I don't know what I'm here, but I'm kind of, my mind is not, like, I'm not feeling anything. Like, I'm not stressed, I'm not upset, I don't know what I am. Like, it's been interesting. What happened on the weekend, I had a little bit of free time, which I don't have on weekends, but I played with some singing bowls.
Hmm.
I ended up actually at the sound bath all of a sudden, which was cool. But I played with some singing bowls and I actually used them, and I've never used them before, like the Tibetan bowls that
Sure.
you use. And I didn't realize up until then what it does when you play them, like how relaxing it is for
Mhm.
like the entire body.
Mhm.
And what I'm wondering is, I mean, you talked a little bit about them and you explained a little bit, but I'm wondering really what would be like if I want to start utilizing that when I'm doing healings or for myself, like, because I know some of them come with like different notes for the different chakras.
That's what people say, like the different chakras. I don't know.
Does it, does it do, what is it like? I'm wondering what it actually, like when they put that on the whatever explanation, what does it actually do? Does it activate a certain
I
center
don't know
more
about
than
the chakra
others?
thing. I've never been super impressed by that. Like I like singing bowls, but the whole chakra explanation, I don't know. Like,
Okay.
yeah.
So when you choose
I mean, I know a couple of like big names in the sound healing circles, and they teach the chakra thing. But like I've asked some questions behind the scenes, and they go, it doesn't matter, just grab one. Like it doesn't really matter what key it is. It's just grab one.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
I get why they're doing what they're doing, but at the same time, it's more big, because sometimes even things in the same key will have a different,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so even for like for me with my uh, like doing my Buddhist practice with like a dorje, and like sometimes I might use a bell. Um, I think I went through 5 or 6 bells before I found the bell that I liked. And that's a very common thing amongst tantric practitioners is you keep playing with the bell until you get the And it's not about what key it's in. It's just about, it's like each bowl kind of has its personality. And so at first it's very calming and soothing to the nervous system, right? It's very it's toning to the vagus nerve, it's calming to the sympathetic part of the nervous system, the fight flight. It does have an aspect in the harmonics where you're calming down the body and you're refining your ability to work the patterns, establish patterns and then refine patterns. And part of that is because of how it's shifting in the nervous system. But then when you start doing deeper practices, when you're doing things with like the Lama Yoga and they work with the Dorje, or you're doing deep work with the oils, at some point, instead of just going, no, I'm going to focus on my breath or I'm going to relax, the best thing you can do is you try to, like, your awareness is on your body, but you're trying to be aware of the nerves as they flow through your body. And every time there's a ding, what will happen is it will shift the nervous system a little bit. And so, like say you do Lama Yoga or you've done a bunch of oils and you go, okay, I'm sitting there being still, being aware of the body. And then you bang the metal bowl or the bell. And then you'll feel like this kind of wave or this activity go through the body. You want to keep trying to experience that, like how it touches the nervous system. Because part of what you're doing is you're refining the nervous system so that, for one, you're calming it down, you're balancing it, you're regenerating it, which means you're making it fire more appropriately. But you're refining it so that you start to become more aware of more subtle things. Now, like when you throw a sentence out like that, where you go, oh, I'm being more aware of some more subtle things. If you look at what does that mean? Because like, you could be with a few of your friends and maybe somebody's very sensitive to sounds or things or energy or whatever. And then there's some that are just completely oblivious, right? And so if you boil that down, that's still a refinement of the nervous system. And whenever you say the nervous system is being refined, it's like how we talk about it in the three brains. Like your intellect is made up of instinctual responses, emotions, and then thoughts, especially lower thoughts. And then that combination is going to make up part of the intellect, right? And so if your intellect is heavier on, say, instinct, then your mind is going to be very reactive, right? If your intellect is based more in emotion, the tendency is that it just gets a little like chaotic. Like, you bounce around, you're not able to stay like super focused on things. And then if it's more on the lower mind, it's just super repetitive in nature. And so when you're working the bowls or the bell, like for me, I use a bell a lot. I use a bell and a gong. And you're being aware of the nervous system, you're being aware of how it shifts. And then over a period of time, you'll notice that your nervous system starts to become more refined. It's because you're calming and regulating the instinctive responses, and you're starting to calm and regulate the emotions, and you're starting to calm and regulate the mind. And the lower mind is the byproduct of the endocrine system, your glands, working through the nervous system. So at the point where you're calming the mind, you're not just calming the nerves, you're also starting to affect the glands or the endocrine system. But just because you're playing bowls doesn't mean this is happening. Like this is like a practice that has to be
Mhm.
refined over a period of time. And so I would suggest when you first do it laying down, like lay down on your back, have the bowl or the bell in front of you, or on the side, and just, do a sound and then just be laying there, and then just try to feel like the waves or the pulses within the body. And I mean, it'll start after a little bit. You can start to feel like the branches of the nervous system. You'll start to feel the the flow of like a kind of fluid or energy that flows through the nervous system, and just keep taking that deeper and deeper and deeper. And even that would help you with even the pattern that we were talking about in the very beginning.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. And then, I mean, there are a lot
We
of
are
different.
going to play with bowls and bells at some point.
Yeah, and I remember you mentioned that as well. And yeah, and I that was the first time I really experienced what it feels like when I play that. And I'm like, wow, this is really like it felt amazing, like it really working the entire body. And then is there, I mean, there are a lot of different kinds and different things and different metals. And I know you have some on the Astara website. I have to check if you have actually smaller ones than those.
We have all sizes, like small, and we have really big ones, but I mean, usually small and medium ones. I think
Okay. And I can email you to kind of.
and, look and see if there's something you like, and if not, we probably have some that aren't even on the site that.
Okay, perfect. Then I'll check. Yeah, thank you. And yeah, and
Especially like the Tibetan and the Buddhist stuff.
yeah.
I always got stuff that's not on the site. Only.
Okay, then yes, then I'll definitely
Yeah.
email you guys and check. Thank
Yeah.
you. And yeah, and originally, I mean, you also mentioned holding even like a small ball when we work with the dorje or meditating and blessing. But that would be pretty much the same idea that you can use the
same
ball.
idea. Yeah, you
Yeah,
use the
so
ball
you
the same
can,
way.
yeah, and you can use the ball for like charging oils or whatever. it
Yeah,
may be.
I would make it less about like charging the oils. I mean, yes, you could use it to charge the oils, but it's more about like when you have a bowl and you put an oil or two in there. Part of the thing with the metal bowls is they're a transmitter. They transmit an energy. And so even like saying Om into the bowl amplifies the effect of the energy of Om that's set out. So you see a lot of times in the old days, prophets would be talking into like a cup or like a bowl. It usually was a cup. Like the prophets a lot of times used to use a silver cup. In the Egyptian tradition, they have this thing that looks like a megaphone, but they do it backwards, and so they speak into the big end, and then it goes down to like the little end, and it's more about because there's the plant, there's the energy of the plant, but when the plants have been properly prepared, it's more about the energy that comes through the plants rather than the plants themselves. The plants are just almost like a representative of something that comes through. And when you start putting the oils in the bowl, it enhances what comes through the oils rather than just the oils themselves.
Okay. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
Like if you want to do a little experiment, because you can feel energy, like take one of the oils out from one of your kits or something, scan the energy of the oil, and then scan the energy that's coming through the oil. You don't have to do it right now, but just if you
Yeah.
do a little experiment at home.
Okay. I'll do that. Okay, thank you. Okay, thanks. And then one last thing. So the energy comes through there. Okay. So what I've been going through, the pins and needles situation.
Mhm.
I've been working all the things. I've been doing the spikenard and the helichrysum and inhalations and working on the state of the body. Been
And
doing
how about
topic,
the diaphragm? How's the diaphragm work going?
doing that as well. Working on like a little bit deeper breathing. Overall, I feel my body feels overall better.
Okay.
Like I used the weekend, so I slept a little bit more, which is like, wow, that was amazing. So that was good. But the pins and needles, it's still, so it's not constant. It's not the whole day. It comes and goes.
And it's not always on the same part of the body.
No, it's different parts. So it's the back, it's the lower back, hands, even higher, like towards the shoulders. It can be the hands, it can be the legs. If I'm warm and it's nice, then I'm fine. If I'm not warm and I don't have to be cold, but if it's not completely really hot, then at night it gets a little bit worse.
And does it usually correspond with like your hands and feet being cold?
My hands and feet are cold most of the time. I'm not cold right now. and my hands
Even
and
like
feet
if it's warm outside, they're a little bit cold?
No, I'm not cold now and they're cold. If it's super hot outside, I don't feel them being cold, but they're not hot.
Okay, let's have you do an experiment. And you know, I was talking earlier about L-citrulline.
Mhm.
You should be able to pick that up at any health food store, get us just a small bottle. It's cheap. Like there it's not an expensive thing. Like you
Okay.
could probably find something for like $8 or $10 or something.
Mhm.
And let's have you take like 2 or 3 of those. Like get the biggest dosage they have and start with like 2 and then maybe even work up to two times a day. And we might even go up to 3 times a day.
And what does that?
It helps
Oh,
to
for the blood circulation.
it helps to relax the veins. And you know, you have we've been doing things to try to increase circulation in the hands and feet, but you're always having them in the pins and needles. Pins and needles is nerves, but if the circulation is off, it's going to throw the fascia off, it's going to throw the muscle off. And so let's just see what happens by reducing spasms and tension in the blood vessels themselves. And then keep doing all the same things, because it's not going to be one thing that's the magic bullet. It's going to be a
Yeah.
combination of things. So keep doing the things you're doing. And then add L-citrulline to that and see if that doesn't enhance it.
Okay. And
I
what
mean,
else?
it should start to have an impact within a day or two. Like you'll still need to do it, but like it won't be like a light switch going on, but you can feel like it's getting a little better.
Mhm.
Like it'll feel like that.
Okay. So then do that twice a day. 2 pills twice a day. Okay. For just what? For
Yeah.
just
Start
keep doing that.
twice a day, and then we'll work our way up. You might go
Okay.
even bigger, but there's combinations of things that do something similar, but let's not go down that route. Let's just stick with
Okay.
the L-citrulline, see what it's doing for you.
And I'm already taking Coca-Cola from the Vein Health.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
also what I noticed, because I've been playing, I have a lot of different things and we talked about different things. What I also been noticing is I've been working with Calm, the ointment. Calm.
What is it?
Calm.
Calm. Yeah.
Yeah. This one also seems to be like, it seems to be somewhat helping, like more than other things that we tried. Because I was like, okay, let's,
good. Yeah.
like, I mean, it's there, might as well. And also my body seems to be, because my skin is kind of dry, it seems to be working better, I think, with the ointments than the body tonics sometimes.
Okay. Sure.
I don't know, but still, but you do like the alcohol in the body tonics, right?
If the oil works, I do the oil. Like especially for this situation, I'm not that picky.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
I would say the benefit there of body tonics over oils is that it just dries quick.
Which for me, I
If you can put oil on and it
yeah,
doesn't, mess up your clothes or, your body
Yeah.
just sucks it up and you're not oily, I go for it. Yeah.
I think okay. But then there's certain things that you can add to the body tonics that you can't really add when you're doing ointments, right? Like certain, because
Yeah, but for calm, I think I
Yeah.
just am adding a tincture.
oh
So
no, for this one it
Mm.
looks like you added a bunch of stuff. But even yeah,
Yeah.
but even with the other ones,
I can tell you exactly what I had.
oh, I actually saw that on the website. It looks like you added a bunch of different
Oh,
things
for
to
the
them.
ointment. Yeah.
For this specific
Mm.
one on the ointment,
Yeah.
but other ointments, as like
Not-
other body tonics, you've been using other things, right? That you're adding tinctures to them, right?
Tinctures and minerals and
Right.
sometimes other things and body tonics. And
But then you,
in the oil-based things, it's usually oil extractions,
so because you can't mix the same things that you would mix in a body tonic, right?
Right.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
some things are water soluble and some things are fat soluble.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. So okay, so I'll try the L-citrulline and I'll see what that does. And still keep working everything else I've been working.
Mhm.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, so
And then go ahead, Denise, then Troy.
hey, Denise.
Hi, Greg. I have had this cold for about 3 weeks. It's probably
Uh.
flu. Could you recommend a couple of things that might help move it along?
Mm. Boy, sorry about that.
Oh no.
Tell me your symptoms.
Lots happen more in my sinuses. Are you okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Choked on my own spit.
Oh, I'm sorry. It more of my sinuses, and then normally it would like kind of I default generally to a sinus infection. It hasn't really been doing that, but then it kind of causes a scratchy throat, and then I get really cold, and then really tired. So
And it's been going on for 3 weeks.
yeah. But I was sicker a little while ago. I started to come out of it, and I don't think I've come completely out of it. I have Nioli. It's Niaouli. I have that, but I don't know what would that be something I could use?
You could definitely use that. It would increase the strength of your body, but 3 weeks is a long time. So let me just look at this for a sec.
Thank you.
Do you happen to have cinnamon?
I do.
Let's have you do a couple drops of cinnamon like 2 or 3 times a day. The other
And
thing, do you have bay laurel?
I do.
Let's, you can take some bay laurel internal, but what I'd like you also to do is to put a little bay laurel like on the armpit area, on the throat, like the lymph nodes. Put them on your lymph node areas. And, I wouldn't put necessarily neat bay laurel on the armpit. Get it kind of close. But if you want to put it in like a little oil, like a little sesame or a little something, you could probably rub it on the armpit. But I would hit the lymph nodes quite a bit.
I
The
have
other-
that
What's that?
lymphatic. I have the lymphatic that Sam was pretty high on. I haven't used it. It's a spray. I could use that, but I won't use that
You
near
could
the
use that,
armpit.
but still put the bay laurel on the lymph node
On
area,
top of it, on top.
and then put the spray on and just spray like the neck and chest and things like that.
Perfect.
And then
My-
inhale the Neoli if you have
um, that's really helpful. My body really likes the vagal tone, the roller that you
Yeah.
suggested, and you told me to use it on my neck. It just really like is acting like a cure-all in many ways. You know,
Yes.
it just
Yeah,
calms in, right?
sure.
Just kind of, even if I have a headache, it sort of just quiets, it sort of just resolves things, you know.
Oh, good.
It is sort of magic to me. So thank you so much for that. And maybe work more with Melissa. I have the one that's this.
Yes, you have Melissa, like definitely that would be helpful.
I have it in the tincture too with the
Mm.
SPAG.
Right, it's Badgery. Yeah.
Yes, Badgery. Good then? you
Yeah,
think?
yeah, I think that's good.
Thank you, Greg. I really
You're
appreciate
so
it.
welcome. Keep us posted. If you're not getting better, let us know.
I will. I appreciate that. Thank you
You're
so
so
much.
welcome.
And then go ahead, Troy.
Hey.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey. So I have had a breakup situation with the partner that's been staying with me here, and
Like in the last day or so?
yeah, day before yesterday, and then there was a bunch of drama with it yesterday, and
Okay.
the surface level drama seems to be subsiding, de-escalating a little bit, but you know, I have like, you know, a lot of like shock feeling in the body, and then the emotions are like real intense, and um just feel, you know, just feeling all the feels real intensely. Had like
Yeah.
a moment earlier today where started to feel like a little bit of a like panic attack feeling, kind of
Okay.
for no good reason, and had like a I'm gonna pass out or have a heart attack kind of non sequitur thought.
Yeah,
Have-
that goes hand in hand with the panic attack. Yeah.
yeah. So anyway, I thought I'd check in, see if you had
Okay.
any recommendations.
Have you used some oils yet for going through all of this? And if so,
Um,
what have you used?
I I found my mind has gone largely blank. It was
Okay.
like, you know, being in the trenches, having shells go off near you.
Yeah.
So I was just like,
I
most
get
of it went out the window. But I thought, well, I should get some anise going, like regulate the heart and the breathing a
Yeah,
little
anise.
bit.
But like also like tarragon.
I did Tarragon was my number 2.
Yeah. And did that help you at all or?
You mute.
Sorry, broke up there for a second. Can you
Did
hear me now?
the tarragon or the benzoin, did that help at all?
It didn't get to benzoin. I think I'm actually out.
Okay, tarragon should do it though.
Yeah.
Like what did you notice with the tarragon?
I mean, I put it on my wrists, on the thumb webs. I was breathing it. I took some internally. I put some on my feet. So, I mean, I definitely felt myself calm down a bit.
Okay. So
Um,
I would keep doing that, but let's do a little bit more. Like I wanted to see like what level the tarragon was helping. You know, because like you said, a little bit of shock and a little bit of just, you know, like it sounds like there was a lot of drama or whatever going on. And so tarragon should help calm things down, start to balance out the nervous system. I also like the idea of using larch on the body for you, like on the
yeah.
chest, because I think like when you're starting to feel the panic, the chest starts to tighten up, but also what's happening is your bronchioles are tightening. Like your, you know, your body's responding to pain. And here it's a psychological pain, it's an emotional pain, but it's still pain. And so what happens is the bronchioles will start to contract, and it just, it makes everything amplified. And so you can inhale it, but just put a bunch of drops on your body, just like, 15, 20 drops just on your chest, and then just kind of rub it in. And you could do that a couple of times a day. The other thing that I'd like for you is let's try an experiment. Let's have I'm sure you have rose and something, even in the plant teacher's kit, there's a little thing of rose. So use the rose and do the basic, and then the front solar plexus, back solar plexus, and then ajna, and then crown. And then just sit and be still for a little bit, and then just repeat and cycle through it again.
I missed it. What was the pattern? Basic, front
Ba-
solar, back solar,
Ajna,
ajna, and then crown.
and then
Thank you.
crown.
Okay.
And the idea is that will shift like a state in the body, like it shifts you out of the state that you're, like you feel like something's happening right now. It shifts you into a place that feels a little bit more comfortable.
Okay.
Yeah. Try that, and then maybe like text and give me an update like in a day, like
Okay.
this time tomorrow.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
And then go ahead, Lolly, and then we have some chat questions.
Hey.
Me again. Going back to what you said about the citrulline, you also mentioned it to David earlier for high blood pressure, right? So my blood pressure is actually low. Does that
I would still give it a shot.
still-
Like you're having spasms at the, that there we're doing different combinations for that.
right?
And anytime you see like circulation in the hands and feet where there's coldness, I mean, sometimes it can be a hypothalamus issue. Sometimes it's a very unregulated solar plexus, but most times it's like circulation down in the veins, and there's like spasms in the veins. And so we're trying to reduce the spasms in those veins. Yeah.
Okay. I just want to double check that it doesn't do anything weird or bad if the
Yeah,
blood
sure.
pressure is already low.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
But if you start feeling weird after the first dosage, stop and
Yes.
we'll talk through it, but it should be okay.
Okay. Thank you.
And let me just find. I'll just start from the kind of where I find. So I've been doubting intentions of everyone the last couple days. Is there an oil practice that helps release that?
Right. So you've been just doubting, yeah. Like give me an idea. Like people are up to no good, or people are trying to pull something, or they're being fake, or like give me an idea of what's going on.
Everything is good, but I'm thinking they have ulterior motive.
Is this new, or is this like an ongoing thing, or? Because
It's
it,
an old pattern.
okay, I was going to say there could be the thing of like, okay, it's an old pattern, it's some old conditioning, or it could be that you're being perceptive. You know what I mean? Like, so, but if it's a pattern that you struggled with before, most likely it's some old conditioning. Okay, so everybody's out to get you, or thumbs up.
Pattern for sure.
Let's have you start with lemongrass. And lemongrass, be it inhalation. You could do the plant teacher's pattern. You need me to pull that up? Yeah. Do you have the pattern, or do you need me to send it to you?
Will you just tell me? I don't let you always gives me patterns.
Here, I'm gonna just send it to you.
Is it the heart, sex chakra temples?
Oh, buddy, I'm sorry. I would have made you co-host. I didn't realize you were in.
Yeah, it's the thing from the plant teacher where it's heart, sex chakra, temple.
Okay, I'll put it up.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I'm so sorry. Thank you.
Let's have you start with that. You can follow the pattern. You can also take a few drops internally, but like daily. Yeah. Let's see how that treats you. If that doesn't work, I mean, I'd give it like at least a week, but I started smiling because there's that old joke where the therapist is talking to their client and the therapist goes, there's a word for someone who thinks that everybody's out to get them. And the client goes, yeah, perceptive. And so as soon as you started saying that, I started thinking of that joke. But that's the thing is like, sometimes it might be a byproduct of our conditioning, but sometimes it's stuff's going on. So it's not always a thing that, if it's conditioning, this should start to help. If it's something that's actually happening, it should help you to stay calm so that you can see it, watch it play out, and not be as triggered. But most likely, if you've had this before, it's probably more conditioning than it is about what's happening right now.
How can the bell be used spiritually? I have one and just ring it around the house sometimes, but would like to know some deeper way of using it, please.
Yeah, kind of like how we were using it, talking about using it when we were talking about the bell and the bowls. Like do either the Lama Yoga or work with oils for a while and then lay down and then just ring the bell and then try to feel your nervous system as it flows through the body. And, at first you're like, what do I visualize on? You'll start to feel like the nerves in your body, like the more you do it. So that will accelerate spiritual growth quite substantially. Yeah.
I've been very impulsive since yesterday. Is there an oil pattern that could help me keep calm?
Impulsive. Has there been like stress or tired? Are you fatigued?
Just the recent happening.
I would use ginger lily the same way that I was just talking about rose. I would use ginger lily a couple of different ways. One, basic front solar, back solar, ajna, crown. You know, if there's things going on in your life, you know, if there's, you know, issues going on, observe them and then feel it in the body. And then after you've done that for a minute or two, then do the pattern. And then just be still. And then again, observe them, feel it in the body, then do the pattern. And you can alternate that pattern at some point with basic Mingmen, back heart, crown. But I get the feeling you feel like you want to do something or you need to do something to make something better or whatever. And sometimes you just got to calm the body down.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Um, Maybe we do a practice.
Yeah, that's okay, if we have time. Yeah. Okay. So, you know, we talked about you know, doing this pattern but with like rose, tuberose, ginger lily, aloes. Mm, if you don't have any of those, let's just say some sort of flower, even like lavender. Jasmine would work.
Food.
Yeah, oud's a type of aloes. Yeah. Okay. We don't even really need to think of anything in particular, so let's just be still for a moment. You have your oil. Begin inhaling with your awareness on the bottom of your tailbone. Nice, long, slow, deep breath with your awareness on the bottom of the tailbone. Move your awareness to your front solar plexus. Your awareness is still on your front solar plexus. Your back solar plexus, the middle of your back, below the shoulder blades. Your awareness is between the eyebrows. Your awareness is between the eyebrows. You're doing nice, long, slow, deep breaths. Your awareness is on the top of your head. It's a nice oil. Yeah. Give me a little hit of that aloe. And then just be still. Just be still. Break out the Rui at this pace. Now, your awareness is on your body. Just whatever jumps out in your body. It can be an ache or a pain, but just don't automatically go to one of your things. What do you feel in your body? Do you feel tension in a certain part of your chest or your shoulder? Something lingering in your back? Whatever jumps out at you right off the bat, put your awareness on that area. Still having your awareness on the body. And you're inhaling that same oil. Your awareness is on the bottom of the tailbone. Move your awareness to the front solar plexus. Your awareness on the front solar plexus. You're taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths. Your awareness is on the back solar plexus, the mid back area below your shoulder blades. Move your awareness to the area between your eyebrows. Your awareness is between your eyebrows. And then the top of your head. Then just pause and be still. Just be still for a moment. And let's add a little materialization breath action to this. So the oil to your chest, be it a bottle or if it's on your skin, and chin down, you inhale, and then up, exhale, down, inhale, 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 up, exhale. Just be still. Just be still for a moment. How's that making you feel better? Try. Are you still there?
Barely.
Yeah. How's that treat you?
No, I don't know. I'm definitely cooled out a lot.
Yeah. Good, good, good. A couple more times you're going to be, what girlfriend? I don't remember a girlfriend.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah, because if you think about it, like you're hitting the will centers. You know, you're hitting the will to survive, and then the emotional will, the mental will, and the spiritual will at the crown. And one of the big things that impacts the will is pain. You know, physical pain, psychological pain, doesn't matter. And so, like these situations with stuff like that, it impacts the will, but like deeper, it starts to be a reflection of like the state that's in the body's in. Like it's in a trauma state, it's in a, you know, it's in a fight flight state, it's in a defensive state, it's, you know, whatever it is. And so by going through and doing this, you're it's not just the chakras, you're like you're helping the body to feel like a sense of well-being. And so then the will goes, well, yeah, let's calm down a little bit. Like everything just starts to calm down. You know, because if you think about it, like part of why your body feels pain is it's trying to stimulate you to take some sort of action. Hey, something here is wrong. We need to fix it. You're touching a hot stove, you're walking on a knee that's degenerating, you know, whatever it is. It's telling you, hey, there's an issue here, you need to do something. And so when we have a psychological pain, part of the agitation is, you know, and here the psychological pain is like you're going through a breakup, you know, you're you know, you're having a thing with this person or this person's doing whatever. And the pain tells the body you're not in a good place, something's going on. You know, you need to take some sort of action, you need to do something. When, you know, it sounds like I don't know all the details of this situation. You just needed to survive the drama of it all and then be able to like step away and go, okay, you know, whatever that was. And so the quicker you can get your body to feeling like some sort of sense of well-being, you know, it doesn't mean that those thoughts about the person might not come up, but they won't be as intense. And then, you know, emotions might come up, but it doesn't feel like there's something you got to resolve right now. You know, because even like with the panic is, you know, if you think about like the pain, you're being prompted to resolve something. And sometimes the panic is, I don't know what there is to resolve. I don't know what to resolve. I don't know, you know, it's like, it's not like I don't know how to do it. It's like I don't know what to resolve. And so the panic will just actually keep building. And so, I mean, that's not all panic, but that is a kind of panic. And so sometimes it's legitimate. Like there's things that are happening in the environment, like, hey, yeah, you gotta take some sort of action here. But a lot of times it's I'm okay. This situation sucks, but I'm still okay. And I need to be able to step away from it and not kind of lose myself a little bit. And emotionally, mentally, that's easy to go to, but your body is like, man, I don't know, dude. Uh, yeah, yeah, you know, it feels like some weird's going on, you know, because in a way, it does feel like something bad's happening. And granted, something bad kind of sounds like it did happen. You guys broke up, you had a bunch of drama or a fight. And so, but to the body, it feels like it's ongoing and ongoing and ongoing, even though it's stopped. And so this just helps your body to get to that reset mode. You know, it just helps your body get back to like, okay, let's just chill. Like, you know, everything's okay. You know, there's some things there that still suck. And if I have to interact with that person, probably not going to be the best. But I can do it in a place where I'm feeling a little better, feel a little calmer. And so I'd say for the next few days or so, man, like carry a little bottle of whatever you just used. Just do it. Like if you start to feel a little agitated, or if she calls you and you have a little weird conversation, or you know, hang up, just take a couple minutes, basic, solar, back solar, ajna, crown. Yeah. So I mean, I don't do this all the time, but I do it from time to time. Last night I was so into it. What happened? I fell asleep for 3 hours and then got up and brushed my teeth, went to bed, slept like another 10 or 11 hours. Well, maybe not 11, but 10.
Probably.
Yeah. Like, I mean, it just knocked me out. And I was just like, hey, I think I'm going to do this. I wasn't even like I was feeling weird or bad or something. And it's just so calming and soothing to the body that it's just, man, it just helps you to knock out. Yeah. Yeah. So keep doing that. Like, I think for you, Rose is real good. Yeah, Rose. So we gotta get moving. Is there like a little quickie?
Ralph's in.
Yeah,
Go
yeah.
ahead, Ralph.
We'll only have like a minute or so. So let's do
So,
real
yeah, I
fast.
think this is a quickie. Seeing as how I've got a cold and I'm trying to sniff oils and I can't smell nothing, is it still work?
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Where, it's a technical question, where does the oils go in this? Because the sinuses are currently basically plugged up. Where do the oils go to be
It would still
effective?
hit the mucous membranes and then eventually get, it's better if it can get down into the lungs. But
Yeah.
like if it's really like blocked up, try inhaling some like thyme or black pepper or something like that to increase circulation so that the mucus starts moving, and then blow your nose a bunch. If that doesn't work, this sounds really weird. Do like 30 seconds of jumping jacks and it'll make your nose run.
I snuffle salt, teaspoon of, or a tablespoon of salt, hot salt water.
Oh,
That
nice.
cleans out
Yeah.
my sinuses. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
You're so welcome. Keep me posted if it doesn't keep working.
Okay. Well, if I have to talk to you about this next week, you know it's a bad scene.
We can email me before next week though.
Okay.
Okay. So we're going to move over to the Astara prayer petition blessing. If you can join us, that would be great. It's just a little 15-minute thing that we do with prayer petitions and to kind of center ourselves. And if not, I think I see a bunch of you on the weekend. And so either, the weekend or next Tuesday, I hope to see you again soon. Take care.